Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at basically how the INT Ultimate Gohan does after his recent Extreme or Super Extreme Z Awakening. Now he remains a 70% INT type lead and he greatly raises attack on his Super. In terms of passive, that's where things get pretty interesting. So basically in terms of passive, he's changed quite dramatically, with a decent attack and defense on the start turn, gaining more attack and defense at 7 key, gaining more attack and defense when he fires off his super attack, and also with a decent chance of crit and a decent chance of also having evasion. But then things get very interesting. If he has all superclass allies in the turn, he gains a whole bunch of additional buffs, and on top of that, with every attack he performs, he builds up his attack and defense as well as also building up his crit chance. That, combined with his greatly raising attack, means that after just a couple super attacks and his built-in additionals, he tends to look really solid and can be a great second slot, third slot floating option that I think will be pretty good across the board. Now his links, he's only got 6, and that's probably the biggest hindrance to him, as of course only 6 links is a little bit limiting. If you look at things like Shocking Speed, Infighter, Saiyan Warrior Race, Saiyan Lineage, and of course Power Bestowed by God, it's a decent link set for any Majin Buu Saga Gohan, but only having 6 links is a little bit of a hindrance nowadays. You are missing that one extra link, which does add a bit to your character, especially if it was all in the family. It'd be a great defensive link. Now, in terms of categories, he's on quite a few, so that, at least to a certain point, is something that's really useful and helpful, and I think is probably one of the bigger talking points for him as a unit, functionally speaking. Now, of course, on top of all of that, I think overall he's on really strong categories, and I think, links set aside, because Ultimate Gohan link sets are kind of average, they're not great. Like, a Super Saiyan always links decently with a Super Saiyan. Ultimate Gohan's link like okay with other hybrid Saiyans and pure Saiyans, but like very limitedly. They're like more like a 2-3 link kind of situation, especially when you only have 6 links to begin with. So it's not like you're getting a huge amount of linkage and synergy there. But where he is super interesting is the fact that he has that buff. So he gives 30% to superclass allies, and then he also gives an extra 20% if he's facing an extreme class enemy, and that's where things are super duper interesting, because basically it means that he's a 58% support against extreme class enemies, which means any red zone, any Broly event, any this event, any that event, and he's pretty good in that regard. So it is very interesting, I will say, and I think ultimately that's really what makes him shine, because the evasion's pretty good. Once fully built up, 70% evasion is pretty reliable. He has guard, he's got solid defense. Is his defense insane? I mean, if he gets hit by a super with his guard, he's probably going to take a lot of damage, especially from the hardest hitting enemies. But in general, for normals, more than fine. Evasion provides another layer on top of that, and the built-in crits help out a lot. Non-animation, he is a great flexi / support / synergy option for units that are any kind of Ultimate Gohan, basically. He's great for the Tech Ultimate Gohan. He's pretty, the Tech Teen Gohan that turns Ultimate. He's pretty good for any other Gohan. He's alright for a lot of Gokus, for a lot of like Goku characters, Goku and Vegeta characters. Saiyan Warrior Race, Saiyan Lineage, all these things are pretty solid. And I mean, the support's good. The support means that you can run him as a floater. The amount of attacks it takes for him to build up is not a lot. In terms of hidden potential build, I think that's where things get a bit interesting. For me, the best build would be mainly additionals. Proccing those additionals is great. It helps to build his attack a lot faster, helps to build his evasion and crit chance a lot faster. But I can understand giving him evasion. He's got crit and an additional already built in, So giving him a little bit more evasion to kind of bring him above that 70% mark isn't something that's totally against the plan. I think if you go any kind of additional and any kind of evasion, I think chances are you're probably looking at a pretty good situation and the right kind of build, at least in my eyes. But yeah, obviously, to each their own. I think ultimately at the end of the day, he's a good unit. I think he's pretty solid, and I think you'll probably find that he's gonna go great as a floater or floating sport on a lot of teams. I think he's reliable. I think outside the link set, he's pretty good. And I think ultimately for me, he can do some pretty good damage, especially once he gets a couple of super attacks. I think he can actually build a ton of damage pretty quickly. So I do find that really good, and I find overall, outside of that, I think he's got a lot of really, really, really good support capabilities and utility capabilities. So for me, he's a really solid unit, and I'm actually very impressed with just how good he is. But of course, that's not necessarily the only thing that he's good for. But I think ultimately for me, what I would say is, I would probably say as a unit, floating support, second slot unit, that's really where he kind of shines. And probably as a second slot to a lot of mainline Gohan characters that he can kind of juice up with his support. But yeah, good unit, solid unit. Link-wise, like I said, same array, same lineage. You got shocking speed, you got power bestow by God. These are solid links. Link leveling him doesn't make a huge difference, I must add. It doesn't blow his mind, doesn't make him amazing. It helps, but it's not like he's got all in the family or something where he gets a lot of defense or attack or anything. I think just overall he's a solid unit that does a good job, and I think you'll find makes a good impact. But yeah, that is pretty much it from me. Honestly, give me your thoughts and opinions on Gohan. I do only have him at 54. I have a dupe in him, but this video is obviously down at 55%, and I think for 55% he's pretty good. I think a Rainbow Gohan probably looks really solid. It probably actually looks very, very impressive. So I think they're continuing the trend of super easy A's, continuing to be very good and working very well, and I'm happy with that. So yeah, I think that's pretty much it from me. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know what you think of him as a unit, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care, stay safe, and bye.